Let's lock in. Daniel Dubois predicts he will knock out Joseph Parker in 3 rounds. So we're going to listen to what he had to say. Now, this quote was taken from an interview that Daniel Dubois did with Box Nation. If you want to hear everything Daniel Dubois had to say about his upcoming fight with Joseph Parker, why he went to the ring with Usyk, and even his fight against Anthony Joshua, if you want to check out this interview that he did with Box Nation, we're going to focus on his prediction for the fight, in which he stated he will knock out Joseph Parker in 3 rounds. And here's Daniel Dubois' prediction. And quote, I definitely feel like I'll go through him. I'll shut him down and put him to sleep, said Dubois about Parker. I'll do whatever I have to do. Yeah, I'll finish him. In 3 rounds, I'll finish him, said Dubois when told that Jillian Jane dropped Parker twice but couldn't knock him out. That's what Daniel Dubois had to say about his upcoming fight with Joseph Parker. Said he will finish him in 3 rounds. He's going to do whatever it takes to finish him in 3 rounds. He's not going to end up like Jillian Jane, who dropped Joseph Parker twice but couldn't finish him. My thing is, some fighters believe you got to speak it into existence. Remember Deontay Wilder, speak it, believe it, receive it. I mean, it worked until it didn't. Daniel Dubois, shoot for the moon, and if you fall, you land on a cloud, right? That's what some people believe. Well, you got to have confidence. I'm not mad at him for having confidence. I'm not mad at him for calling his shot. But do I think that's how it's going to play out? I just don't see it playing out that way. Doesn't mean that he wouldn't or he won't end up knocking out Joseph Parker. He's a capable guy. And he's coming off of knocking out Anthony Joshua in 5. So the guy has a lot of confidence, and, he's riding high. And it's up to Joseph Parker to take that confidence away. Personally, I don't see the fight going that way. I think that Joseph Parker is more elusive than Anthony Joshua, and I think he has better conditioning than Anthony Joshua has shown lately. But we'll see what happens. That's why you have the fights. It's possible that he do it, and if he does, he have all the bragging rights in the world. If Daniel Dubois beats Joseph Parker, this will be the fight that officially makes me a believer out of him. See, personally, I see it as, remember when they said Anthony Joshua had really great matchmaking, and what they were referring to is the fact that he had fought Robert Helenius. Then he fought Otto Wallin, and he fought Francis Ngannou. And everyone was saying, yeah, he looked good in those fights, but his opponents weren't necessarily killers, and his opponents weren't necessarily the best version of themselves. He had Robert Helenius, who got sparked out by Deontay Wilder in 1 round, speaking of Anthony Joshua. And then he had Otto Wallin, who really didn't have a spectacular performance since his performance with Tyson Fury, which was years prior to him stepping in the ring with Anthony Joshua. And Anthony Joshua stopped him, which was something Tyson Fury couldn't do. And Francis Ngannou fought Tyson Fury to a split decision, although most people would agree it wasn't the best version of Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury probably took him extremely lightly and thought it was going to be somewhat of an exhibition. And Francis Ngannou came in there like, yo, I'm trying to become like champ. I'm trying to become a household name. And he dropped Fury, and Anthony Joshua just sparked him out inside 2 rounds. I feel like there's a similar pattern with Daniel Dubois, where he's been matched appropriately. Now, his win over Gerald Big Baby Miller looks good, especially after Gerald Big Baby Miller just fought Andy Ruiz to a draw. But what people are missing is he caught Gerald Big Baby Miller when he just came back from suspension. Gerald Big Baby Miller was extremely overweight, and he looked horrible in his fight against who was it he fought? Was it Lucas Brown? It was one of the fights, man. He just looked absolutely sloppy, slow, and then he fought Daniel Dubois, and he didn't necessarily look in the best shape for that fight either. But he had just come back, and he wasn't in a groove. It wasn't like he was the best version of himself. And then after that fight, he looked even better against Andy Ruiz. So basically, Daniel Dubois fought someone who's been working his way or working himself back into shape. Then Daniel Dubois got a hold of Philip Hrgovic. And Filip Hrgović hasn't looked the same since his fight with Jang. And many people believe Jang actually beat Filip Hrgović, and Filip Hrgović was very lucky to receive that decision. And Filip Hrgović hasn't really been in tough since that fight. And he thought he was going to knock out Daniel Dubois. And credit to Daniel Dubois, he took a lot of right hands, man. He took, like I said, a puncher bag is undefeated. So if you take someone's best shots and you're still standing, most likely that person is going to be gassed and you can get them up out of there. And that's what Daniel Dubois did. So salute to him. And then he fought Anthony Joshua. Many people believe Anthony Joshua's lost his killer instinct. He's a shell of himself. And that's what Simon Jordan has been saying about Anthony Joshua. And he was right about that. He got a lot of flack over it, but he was right. If one detonates on Anthony Joshua's chin, now, you know what? I take it back. He wasn't right because he said Anthony Joshua will quit and Anthony Joshua forward. Anthony Joshua didn't quit. He kept getting up. He kept fighting until he couldn't no more. And there's no shame in going out on your shield. That's the problem with this new age boxing. If you lose, you suck. If you go out on your shield, you get clowned like unnecessarily. But for me, Anthony Joshua doesn't have anything to be ashamed of. But where there is some speculation is how good was Anthony Joshua when he stepped into the ring with Daniel Dubois? And was he, how much of the AJ of old, like how much of the AJ was left when Daniel Dubois sparked him out? And, you know, you see Anthony Joshua didn't want an immediate rematch with Daniel Dubois. He was willing to wait for Fury. So, you know, to me, that kind of sends a message. I believe that the young, hungry Anthony Joshua always want to get back immediately. He want to get back immediately against Andy Ruiz. He want to get back immediately against Alexander Usyk. And this time when he lost, he made the business decision of swerving the fight. Do with that what you will. But again, we're talking about someone who may have been matched perfectly to get to where he's at right now. And he's facing Joseph Parker, who is a hungry guy because he had to fight his way back into contention because people were ready to write him off after lackluster performances like the one against Junior Fall. You know, they threw him in there with Joe Joyce, and he got sparked out by Joe Joyce, and then Joe Joyce got sparked out by Jang, and then they threw Parker in there with Jang, probably thinking Jang was going to spark out Parker. And early in the fight, it looked that way. And then Parker's determination got him through it. Then Parker beat Deontay Wilder again. Was he put in there to beat Deontay Wilder, or was he put in there to get sparked out by Deontay Wilder? Who really knows? The point is, he won. He made it look easy. And now he's before Daniel Dubois. In my personal opinion, both of these fighters have a lot to prove. And whoever wins this fight goes a long way towards proving that they both have a lot of momentum. They both proven that there's still a lot of fight in them. But at this stage in the boxing landscape, I feel like Joseph Parker may be a more dangerous fight for Daniel Dubois than Anthony Joshua was. And if I had to predict, not the outcome, but will the Joseph Parker fight be a tougher fight for Daniel Dubois than Anthony Joshua was? My prediction is yes. I believe that Daniel Dubois is going to have a harder time beating Joseph Parker. If that is what happens, then he had defeating Anthony Joshua. That's my personal take on it. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe. If you can't catch the videos on YouTube, listen to it on the podcast on all major streaming services. Cadence Kerfuffle, spelt the same way it is on the YouTube channel. I appreciate all your support. Thank you for watching. It's Caden. I'm out. Peace.